Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're all doing fine on it's Friday again. Guys, it's Friday. It's time to be happy, guys, isn't it? It's time to be happy. Happy go lucky. What's going on, guys? Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that lovely, generous stuff, guys. Really, really appreciate you. And before I start, speaking of appreciation, thank you, Marky Mark. Big up the legend that is Marky Mark. Thank you so much for your super chat, my guy. Morning, Sal, and the community. How are you, my friend? Very well. Better to see you, my friend. Very excited to the Glazers leave. Time to make United great again. Let's get straight into the news, shall we, guys? Shall we get into the news? I know that's what it's all about, isn't it? Now, look, yesterday, obviously, we had the tweet from the Saudi Arabian Turkey al-Sheikh about Man United potentially being taken over. Obviously, a lot of things in regards to this tweet was misconstrued. There was lots of, false information going out there and everything. But I mentioned it yesterday that the tweet could have been about a potential buyer from another entity, another person, another billionaire. Now, rumors are circulating around the UAE where I am, guys. No, it's not me. It's not me, guys. I'm not buying the football club. I wish I was buying the football club. I really do. But it's not me buying the football club. Here in the UAE, in particular, Abu Dhabi, which is in the UAE, just to let you know that Dubai is not a country. Dubai is in the UAE, and so is Abu Dhabi is in the UAE, guys, the capital UAE, guys. So basically, an entity here, a billionaire here, has inquired about the possibility of purchasing Manchester United for around 5 billion, guys. Now, what do I make of that? Qatar obviously offered around, I think it was 4.2 billion when they tried to buy out Man United a year ago. Was it over a year ago now? Time flies, doesn't it? And that was rejected. Now, why would the Glazers all of a sudden want to sell their shares for 5 billion? Now, look, I have many theories in regards to this, and one of the most potent theories that I can come up with is the fact that the regeneration project is failing. I mean, maybe it's just not going according to plan. Maybe they're not getting on with Ineos. Now, maybe Jim and the Glazers don't see eye to eye, because at the end of the day, when you think about it, they're two billionaires, right? Well, there's multiple Glazer billionaires, but there's two real leaders here, the Glazers and obviously Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. And maybe they just don't get on. Maybe the partnership is not going as well as they thought it would go. There's many theories you can come out with it, because not everything is set in stone. Not everything works out how you plan it to work out. Of course, billionaires are always going to have their ego. They're always going to have their own, agendas and how they should run the football club and how they think they should do that. And this is exactly why I believe that you get a bunch of billionaires in a room, you're going to get disagreements. You're going to get arguments. And I said it about a year ago now. There's too many chefs in the kitchen at Manchester United, not only in regards to the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe, but also in regards to basically the Vival, Barada, Wilcox, these people as well. There's too many chefs in the kitchen, and there's always going to be disagreements, and disagreements cause disgruntlement. Disagreements cause falling out. And this could also be an issue at Man United right now. Why would the Glazers sell the football club? I mean, for me, the biggest reason, they're not very liked. We don't like them. We want them out of the club now. That is the most important thing, of course, guys. Get them out of the football club. That's what I would say, And I would love to get the Glazers out of the football club, But at the moment, I just feel like it's a pipe dream. I feel like it's a dream. I feel like, it's an alternative universe that we live without the Glazers as our owners of our football club. I mean, it's been so long that you just feel like, when something has been so long that you just don't feel like it's ever going to happen. And that's how I feel at the moment. A bit like Tottenham winning the league or Arsenal winning a trophy. It's a bit like you just feel like it's never going to happen. Yeah, I mean, sorry, Arsenal. You just feel like it's never going to happen. And I feel like that about the Glazers leaving the football club. Do you know what I mean? And I hope it's true. We saw the reconfirmation from the Sheikh yesterday about another person who is interested in buying a football club. I think it's confirmed, but there is another person there to buy the football club. Should it happen? And he'd be delighted if it happens, but he said it's not guaranteed. It might not happen. But he did confirm that someone is interested in buying a share in the football club. Now, there's been lots of analogies out there. Lots. I would say that there might be a part ownership. There might be a share purchase. There might be a percentage ownership, of course. But when I think about the UAE and Qatar in particular, when they buy football clubs or sport entities, they generally buy the whole thing. And this is one thing that made me like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? They generally buy the whole thing. Now, there's obviously been some rumors about the stadium. They may buy the stadium. They may buy the naming rights to the stadium and things like that. Look, I would love us to be owned fully 100%. I think that is the most important thing for Man United right now. To be owned by one person, 100%, nice and easy. That's what we need. We don't need to be owned percent here, crumbs everywhere. Do you know what I mean? We need to be owned by one person, at the very, very maximum two, right? But we can't be going on to 3 and 4 owners of this football club, because at the end of the day, there's going to be more chaos. But there's enough chaos at this football club as it is. But looking at these tweets, will Manchester United be taken over? Now, there's no smoke without fire. I said it yesterday. When these things happen, these gentlemen, these guys are very, very rich people, very important people. They do not spread rumors. They don't, especially that a guy with 7 million followers on Twitter. They do not just all of a sudden, follow rumors. They don't just follow rumors, Now, it's not Saudi who are linked with Man United. It's not Saudi. The Sheikh confirmed it. It is UAE or Qatar. That is what the rumor is going in at the moment. It's not. He confirmed yesterday that it's not the Saudis. He said it himself that it's not the Saudis that are interested in purchasing the football club. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. It's exciting. Fingers crossed we get rid of the Glazers. And that will be an absolute nightmare for the rest of English football, for the rest of the Premier League, and indeed the media as well, because the media don't want us to succeed, do they? They want us to fail. They don't want don't want the beast to awaken again. They don't want us to awaken again. And it'll be just look, guys. I will have a celebration stream here, guys. I'll have a celebration stream if we get rid of the Glazers, guys. I'll arrange a meetup at Old Trafford if the Glazers leave this football club. It's about time, guys. We've had 20 years of it. It's about time they left the football club, of course, guys. Let me know what you're all thinking, guys. Really appreciate what everyone in the house, of course, the legends, of course, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you, Marky Mark, again for your generosity. I really appreciate you, and thank you for supporting the channel, my guy. Absolutely good to see you, man. And I hope you're having a lovely Friday. Ephraim, good morning, Sal. Is it investment or full sale? Look, this is where we're getting into rumors. This thing is new. No one knows. Not even top journalists know. There's lots of rumors going on around that. Could it be an investment in a stadium? Could it be just a partial ownership? There's lots of things. What we have to do is we have to weigh it up. What would UAE do? What would Qatar do? Qatar or UAE would buy the club fully. They wouldn't do a partial ownership or something like that. The only thing I can envision is the stadium ownership. And that's what I would say. They own the stadium. And that's the only thing I can think other than that. Look, I would love them to own the football club. Look, even if it's unlikely and they got 20% of the football club, right? Let's, for example, off the Glazers. It's chipping away at the Glazers' ownership, isn't it? It's chipping away at them. So slowly but surely, they're getting less and less a grip on the football club. It could be another reinvestment like that. It could be another investment like that, another 20%. You know what I mean? Who knows? Big up Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up Fanatic8, the legend. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up FM Sal. We want this parasites out of our club. Absolutely. We've been screaming and shouting, protesting, etc., to get these parasites out of our club for a very, very long time, 20 years. I was there in my green and gold scarf back in 2005. You know what? And we're still here today, isn't it? Never would have thought that we'd still be here today, guys. They've chipped away at this football club. Speaking of chipping, they've chipped away at our football club. They've chipped away at it. The stadium is derelict. We've got, so much debt now. Our debt has gone from 500 million to over 1 billion, guys. There's no capital being paid off on that debt either. So, they need to let their grip loosen on this football club and let us go, for goodness sake. Goodness me, let us go and let us thrive, because that's what they're doing. They're holding Man United back. Even with all this debt that Manchester United have accumulated because of the Glazers, we still can be competitive. And this is the thing, and still win the odd trophy here and there, still be more successful than Arteta. You know what I mean? This is what we're talking about at the end of the day. Big up Metal. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good morning, Gary, you legend. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you this morning. Good to see you as well, my friend. Good to see all the great people in the house today, guys. Lots of positivity going around. The only negative is that we got international week and we have to wait another week for the football, of course, guys. You know what? There we go, guys. Absolutely. England beat Wales, by the way. Nice and easy. Easy does it. What's the point of Wales? I don't know. I mean, they're absolutely useless. England took their foot off the pedal, I think, and England could have won 10-0 if they wanted to. It's absolute waste of time, to be honest with you. It is. You know what I mean? Oh, goodness me. Lions don't care about the opinion of sheep. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Sorry. Had to be a bit better. Toms, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you're doing good. Good to see you, my guy. Hope you're having a lovely Friday. Ciao. Morning, Sal. Morning, guys. Why should we renew the contract with players? Experience failure in 6 years. Look, Harry Maguire, the rumor about Harry Maguire is going to be offered a new contract. What do I make of this? Obviously, the reason that they're going to offer him a new contract apparently is because his experience. But I think we need to take a step back about this experience thing, this leadership group, all this nonsense, right? What Man United need to do, Chow, is they need to look at these players and say the only experience that these players have is experience in failure. That's it. It's over. It's failure. Experience in failure. You know what I mean? That is the only thing that these players have. So why would we offer him a new contract? I mean, I'm baffled. I would much rather get a Kulungi, get a Fredrickson from the reserves and from the youth team and play them instead. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would rather. I would actually rather do that than keep Maguire and players like that. They're specialists in failure. That's what they are. I mean, sorry to quote Jose Mourinho, wasn't it? Specialists in failure in regards to Arsene Wenger. Boy, football was ruthless back then, wasn't it? Specialist in failure. Arsene Wenger, he wasn't a specialist in failure. He's an absolute legend, of course. Good morning, Irfan. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Salam alaikum. I hope you're doing well. And Juma Mubarak to you as well. I hope you're having a great Friday. You know what I mean, my friend? I got a little bit of dust here. Woo. Yeah, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you again. I hope everything is blessed with you, my guy. Good to see you again. Ronaldo promises that he will own a big club one day. Mark my words, he said, something smells fishy. He said it in an interview a few years ago, didn't he, Irfan? He said it a few years ago in an interview. And he said that he sees himself owning a football club one day. I mean, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great, the Saudis and Ronaldo, or UAE and Ronaldo? Wouldn't that be brilliant, man? Because you have the football guy and you have the billionaire. You've got the looks. I've got the brains. Let's make lots of money. Oh, goodness me. Pet Shop Boys, absolutely. Get the Pet Shop Boys in. They'll do a better job than the Glazers, absolutely. You know what I mean? Yeah, look, you know... I would love it to happen. I would love that to be the case. I would love Cristiano Ronaldo to own some of the football club. Cristiano Ronaldo needs to be used. He needs, because his brain, his attitude, his mentality is top of the notch. It's top of the tree. It's the best. We need that. We need that mentality at the club. The best. You know what I mean? Look, Ronaldo was ahead of the game. I know Ronaldo spoke to Piers Morgan and it was wrong. He shouldn't have spoke to Piers Morgan and all that, but he made some very good points in that interview. One of them, which was obviously Carrington and the old Carrington. But this year they refurbished Carrington. And Ronaldo said it years ago. You know, it's probably because of Ronaldo that they refurbished the Carrington. You know, it's probably because of him, you know. Big up GK. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again, brother. Hope you're blessed. Good morning, Daryl. Daryl. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're all blessed, my guy. Good to see you. Of course, Irfan, giving Maguire another contract, are we ever going to learn, or are we refusing to learn? One thing United is not learning: organisation. These loyalty programs come back to haunt. I agree with Irfan here. 100% agree with Irfan here, because at the end of the day, how are you gonna get to the end of the book, right? If you keep reading the old chapters, how are you going to get to the end of Breaking Bad if you keep repeating episode one? You're not going to get to the end of it, are you? It's insanity. I agree, Irfan. I think we're very nostalgic as a football club. We're very, we cling on to things for too long. And then, you know what? It ends up becoming style. For goodness sake, we're going to keep him to 33, 34 years old. Harry Maguire to 33, 34 years old. I mean... Harry Maguire, let me just get this straight, right? Harry Maguire is a great personality. He's probably a great person. He's a good captain, but he's not a good footballer. And ultimately, that is what it's all about. It's about the football, isn't it? I'm going to support him with all my might, but I think that don't give him a new contract. We need to move on. We need to be realistic, guys, if we really want to progress. You know, I mean, we're talking about winning league titles in 2028. You know what I mean? How are we going to do that? Yes, if we can see, we will make rivals cry again. Absolutely. Marky Mark, you know what? I said it many, many times, Marky Mark. You know, one of the biggest regrets I have supporting Man United for nearly 40 years is the fact that I didn't rub it in people's faces a little bit more. Mate, because I was humble, I was a quiet guy. I was actually a shy guy, guys. I was a very shy person at school and at college. So I was very humble. When we used to win games, I would say, oh, unlucky, you did well. Unfortunately, you know, unlucky next time, blah, blah, blah. These days, I don't care. I've seen the way these pundits, these rival fans act around Manchester United. You know what I'm telling you right now? When we win the league, and it is a when, guys, it is a when, let me tell you, when we win the league, when we win the Champions League again, I'm not going to be a humble Sal anymore. I'm not going to be that humble guy anymore. No way. I'm going to rub it in. I am going to be the most obnoxious, unbearable Manchester United fan there is in the world. I'm telling you, I will be doing streams. I will be doing everything, partying. It will be banter. Absolutely. They ain't seen nothing yet. Nah, absolutely. Daryl, yeah, bro, meet up, piss up. Yeah, 100% Daryl. Drinks on me. We go out there. We go to Old Trafford. We'll have a piss up. We'll have a great time. We'll enjoy it. We'll eat the fish and chips at Old Trafford. I mean, there is a good fish and chips at Old Trafford as you come towards Old Trafford. Just not Lou Macari's chippy, by the way, but if you go further on, there is a very nice chippy as well. I haven't eaten at Lou Macari's yet, but I plan on eating at Lou Macari's one day, definitely. Big up Neil Pile. What's going on? Morning, Salinio. Big up my friend. Hope you're doing well. I wish my mum and dad did name me Salinio. I probably became a professional footballer. Do you know what I mean? The day the Glazers leave is the day I will be back to actually buying club merch. Can't wait to miss the kits. I'm the same as you, Neil. The last kit I got was the pink one. That was a gift for my wife. That's the last kit I actually wore of the recent ones. I've got all the old ones. This is one of them. And actually, I did buy that when it came out. You know, I've got all the old ones. I got a lot in London, the 99 ones, and obviously 95, 96. I've got that as well. And I want to be relaxed when I'm buying kits now. Every time I'm looking at it, I feel, you know what? I'm not even lying. Some of the kits look nice. I like the kits. I think, you know what? They're nice. But I never buy them because of the Glazers. And I feel like I'll be a hypocrite, a flip flop, if I buy kits from them. You know, it's sad the way things are. Saldinho is a good nickname. I don't mind that nickname. It might sound Brazilian. I've got a Brazilian uncle. You know what I mean? But you know, I wouldn't mind that name, to be honest with you. But my name's Sal. You know, apparently Sal in Japanese means something else. It means like I don't know, buffoon or something in Japanese. And yeah, apparently I went to Japan and they were laughing at me when I said my name's Sal, and I was like, oh my goodness me, you know. Terrible. Gary, I think it's great that we are having the conversation and that things may be moving in the right direction. Absolutely. We'll see how it sorts out, but it's about time to see the Glazers move on. Absolutely, Gary. It's better than having this news than no news at all, because over the last few months, we've been talking about this regeneration project and how the Glazers want to stay for this regeneration project. Maybe something's going on, guys. Maybe there's a disagreement within the ranks. Maybe there's a disagreement there. Maybe there's a disagreement between Ineos and the Glazers. Wouldn't that be great if they're fighting between each other? Instead of the fans fighting with each other, it's the Glazers and Ineos fighting with each other. That is what we want, isn't it, at the end of the day? That is what we need to aim for. We need to aim for destabilization within the board. That's what we need to aim for to get them out of the football club. I don't like him. He don't like him. Well, at the end of the day, he called me a twat. So I don't really like him, to be honest with you, at the end of the day. You know, and that's it, you know. Leave. That's it. And that would be absolutely fantastic. Metal. Sal, if the Glazers sell their shares, does that mean Ineos will be forced to sell too? It depends on the... they won't be forced, but obviously money talks. It depends on... no one has to sell their shares if they don't want to sell their shares. What it does do, however, if, for example, UAE took charge of Manchester United, the majority of Manchester United, they would have to force them out. They will be forced out. Their hand will be tied, and they will be paid off, and they'll be gone. Because obviously, I don't feel for 1 minute that UAE will go. Any entity that a billionaire from the Middle East will go into Manchester United, purchase Manchester United without owning the full football club. I do say, however, I do feel that keeping Ineos at the football club whilst they own the majority of the football club wouldn't be such a bad idea. And let me hear me out, guys. It wouldn't be such a bad idea because they can look after the footballing side of things, and the billionaires who purchased Manchester United from the Glazers can look after the financial side of things, if you know what I mean, you know? And they can look after all the money side of things and stuff like that, you know? And work in collaboration. And I think it'd be better for that to happen than, you know, having the Glazers and Ineos. It'd be better to have, like, for example, Abu Dhabi and Ineos. We do have to say, however, that Abu Dhabi own Manchester City. We can't be owned by the same we can't be owned by the same people, because obviously in the rules of UEFA, if we go into Europe and Man United get into Europe, you know, and Man City, you can't. It's a conflict of interest, and they won't allow it to happen. So it has to be someone different. It has to be a different company altogether, you know. Irfan, what if creditors demand a stake in the club in exchange for our depth, or even demanding a paycheck plan to get questions? Just ask, just tease him. Irfan, you're very intelligent, my guy, in regards to business. Very smart comment. You know what I mean? There's more than one way to skin a cat here. And, you know, I actually feel that the Glazers there's something going on that we're unaware of at the moment. That maybe, as I said, maybe it's a fallout. Maybe the regeneration project is not going to be going through as they had planned. Maybe there's a disagreement with finance with Ineos and the regeneration project. Who knows? You know, all we know is that these are billionaires at this football club, and billionaires generally don't get on with billionaires. It's always a competition, isn't it? You know, absolutely. I remember the film. Who remembers the film? I watched it the other day with Eddie Murphy coming to Trading Places. Trading Places basically got a homeless guy, Eddie Murphy, and they made him into a billionaire as a bet. And they wanted to give a scientific experiment how he does as a billionaire, basically. And these two billionaires who done this were rivals with each other. And they can't even get on, even though they were only betting for a small amount of money. I think it was only a dollar or something like that. You know, they didn't get on. You know, and this is with billionaires. This is a perfect example of what billionaires are. No matter how rich they are, they don't like each other. Billionaires don't like each other. This is straight up facts. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a kind of fallout within the ranks. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not going to be crying a river. I'm not going to be crying about that. I'm going to be happy about that, because at the end of the day, that does cause destabilization within the ranks, and it would help contribute towards them selling the shares. You never know. We'll see what happens. Big up, Mark. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Ralph Raggett won 10-0 last night, and Rasmus scored 2. Yeah, fair play to Rasmus Højlund. I've always liked Rasmus Højlund. People know me about Rasmus Højlund, but it's Belarus, and it's Denmark, and it's international football. I wouldn't read too much into international football, my guy. I'm glad Rasmus Højlund is doing very well. I knew he would go to Napoli and do well. It's a great place to be. Man United, it was always going to be difficult at Man United, because the circumstances at Man United are completely different than anything else in regards to the toxicity, in regards to the pressure at Man United. The shirt is very heavy. That's why a lot of players fail when they come to Man United. It's not that they're bad players, it's just that they fail. But lots of players have left and failed as well, you know. Mark, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Exactly how these players are serial losers. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Would Lewis Hamilton, right, be approached by a guy who's never raced in his life, and that guy who just does racing with his mates goes up to Lewis Hamilton and says, you need to drive the car like that, you need to drive like this? Do you think he's going to listen to him? He go, who the hell are you? I'm a winner. Who the hell are you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And I don't like, for example, back in the day, we used to have winners. Obviously, Andy Cole, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Peter Schmeichel, Dennis Irwin, Gary Neville, Ryan Giggs. We had winners left, right, and center. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want these players, even Bruno, anywhere near our youth players. I wouldn't want them anywhere near. I wouldn't want the up-and-coming players, JG, Gabriel, all these players that are coming through the ranks, to be speaking to them about winning. You know, at the end, I wouldn't want them, because I mean, they're not used to it. They don't know what it is to win. And I'm not talking about win the FA Cup here. I'm not talking about League Cup here, or the Europa League. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Premier League, Champions League. You know, these kind of trophies. That's what, you know, and that's what unless you've won that trophy, they can't turn around to those players and say, you need to do that, because they can turn around and say, but what have you won? And this is exactly what happened with David Moyes. When David Moyes walked into Manchester United, he was tasked with the responsibility of following up Alex Ferguson. Not only that, he was tasked with the responsibility of managing Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Robin van Persie, Michael Carrick, Ryan Giggs. These players, guys, who were serial winners, serial Patrice Evra, serial Premier League winners, etc. And he went in the dressing room and he tried to show these winners a videotape or DVD, whatever it was, of Everton defending. You're talking about Phil Jagielka, players of that ilk, right? Trying to show Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic about defending, right? So one of the players said in the dressing room, he said, but what have they won? Right? What have they won? He's talking about Everton. One of the players, I believe it was Rio Ferdinand, but it's not been confirmed. He said, what have they won though? And then someone else said, which is unconfirmed, David Moyes, what have you won? What have you won? The end of it. End of conversation, isn't it? And that's exactly about the captains with Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Dalot. What have you won? Have you won a Premier League? Have you won a Champions League? Excuse me. Exactly, you know? Gary, offering a new contract shows that United management cannot read the room. They do not realize how much damage these long two players have, and it's part of the problem we have had management. Look at Man City, for example, Gary. And I hate to bring in Manchester City, right? But look at Man City. Edison is being lined up to be sold. De Bruyne was removed from the football club, was sold. Back in the day, Zabaleta was removed from the football club. He was sold. There's players that leave Man City that are serial winners. Serial winners, right? And here we are, nostalgic FC, players who've never won anything, but we need to give them a new contract because one day, just one day, miraculously, they might turn into world-class players. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, absolutely. Madness, isn't it, Gary? Madness. Trizzy, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Remember, the club is a public traded company, so you would think something would be mentioned. True, but it is early days. We'll have to wait and see. I don't see how a multi-billionaire, maybe something has to be done officially. I don't see how a multi-billionaire on Twitter with 7 million followers, who's responsible for Matchroom Sports, boxing in Saudi Arabia, and the collaboration between UK and Middle Eastern sport. I don't see, and I know Eddie Hearn, by the way, guys. Eddie Hearn, who's obviously very close to Saudi Arabia, and I can't see how we would say something like that, a serious guy, if there wasn't an element of truth in it. There's no smoke without fire. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say about that. Why would he go out his way? And then also, not only that, to later on clarify what he said, to put into perspective what he said, and mention it again. You know what I mean? So it's no joke, you know? Irfan. Pet shop by so Sal, love it, bro. Have a great day. Have a great day, Irfan. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're well. Have a great day. Blessings to you, my friend. And yeah, look, you know, yeah, I mean, it is the hope that kills you at the end of the day, isn't it? It is the hope that kills you. But we're looking at these, and you have to look at that. We have to look at it from the outside. If we wasn't Man United fans, right? If we weren't Man United fans, what would you think of that? If you saw that tweet, then you saw the clarification of that tweet. Not only that tweet, the people commenting on that tweet, other very important personnel commenting on that tweet to co-sign that tweet. How would you feel if you were from the outside? You weren't a Man United fan. How would you feel? You know, madness. Guys, a few days ago, indeed a week ago, I spoke about a player. His name was Etta Iong. Now, I spoke about him quite in depth. The Levante centre forward, Cameroon international. I said it about a couple of weeks ago, and it has been clarified and it has been confirmed by Ben Jacobs that Manchester United are looking at this player. Etta Iong, 21-year-old centre forward, has been scouted by Manchester United. And I've mentioned him a couple of times now, guys. And guys, just clarification, Stretford Post is where it is. Said it a few days ago, of course, a week ago, I think it was nearly, in regards to Etta Iong, confirmed by Ben Jacobs. And but as I say, Man United are looking for a backup striker. There's obviously rumours about Kane as well. Look, Kane is a world-class player, but let me just finish on Etta Eong. Etta Eong would be a squad filler, someone we could bring on as a substitute. You remember when Man United used to have like Louis Saha and people like that, you know, from Fulham and everything. You know, Man United need another striker on the bench. They definitely need that in case something happens to Sesko. However, there's also rumours in regards to Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane is a world-class striker. I know. Don't get me wrong. It's a world-class striker. A poacher's dream, you know. But I do not want to stifle the development of Benjamin Sesko. We need to remember that Benjamin Sesko is still our player, guys. And, you know, he's going to be a world-class player. He's the future. We cannot stifle his development by buying Harry Kane, right? What's that going to do for Benjamin Sesko? Because Harry Kane is going to walk straight into that side, 33 years old. He's going to walk straight into that side. And what's that going to do for Benjamin Sesko? Exactly. The only strikers, if we're going to buy a striker, I mean, firstly, I think we should just concentrate on the midfield at the moment and the right wing back. But if we're going to buy a striker, make sure it's a striker that is, you know what, on the peripheral, or, you know, coming up, can be on the bench, can do a job when coming off the bench. Absolutely. Neil, it was because of Ronaldo we almost got for a full Sal. Yes, it was. We need personalities like that. No bull, no crap. You know, just we need personalities like that at this football club. We need people at this football club who know about winning. And this is why the likes of Rashford, the likes of Bruno didn't get on with Cristiano Ronaldo. And I don't know if you guys remember when Bruno Fernandes was playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo for Man United, by the way, it didn't work. Maybe it works for Portugal, but it doesn't work for Man United. It didn't work for Man United. And there was a lot of players at our football club who couldn't take it. They couldn't take the heat. They couldn't take that a 40-year-old was showing them up in the league, scoring 30 goals. They couldn't take it. He's a mentality monster, 1 in a billion. Guys, there's never going to be another Cristiano Ronaldo. His work ethic is second to none. In the generation that everyone wants everything for free, everyone wants to, you know, lose weight and have injections to lose weight and don't want to put in the work to lose weight. Everyone wants to do this. Everyone wants to do that. In this era, we're creating a lazy era. We're creating a lazy attitude. A person like Ronaldo is a dying breed. He's a dying breed, and I think he'll be an absolute amazing addition to the squad, in my opinion. Kenny, why can't they just refurbish Old Trafford instead of that regeneration project? Because they got this excuse about the South Stand, Kenny. The South Stand, behind the South Stand, there's a railway track, right? So the excuse was we can't redevelop Old Trafford, and this was the same excuse when Alex Ferguson was there. So when you look at Old Trafford, obviously you've got the East and West and North stands all built up. Then we get to the South Stand, it sort of drops, doesn't it, right? So that was because of the railway track. Now, they said it's too expensive to redevelop Old Trafford. I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think, right, that they can work a way around this track. Of course they can. They can work around the railway track. Of course they can. Money talks at the end of the day. I believe that they want to move the stadium to another location so that they can input their name, input their brand all over Old Trafford. Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, blah, all over Old Trafford. This is what I feel. This is what I feel that they want to do. They want a completely new stadium because of that. Now, the great teams of all around the world, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, right? They do not move stadium. They do not move stadium. Liverpool, they do not move stadium because the stadium is part of their heritage. It's who they are. It's their identity. Anfield is one of the most difficult places to go because it's Anfield. If they were playing at a new Anfield, it wouldn't be the same thing because the historical value in Anfield, the historical value, the history of winning at Anfield is there in the air. You can feel it. I've been to Anfield a few times. The atmosphere is just electric all the time. It's electric. And it's like a 12th man on the pitch. It really is. Old Trafford used to be like that. And we have a lot of history at Old Trafford. Old Trafford through the 40s and 50s. Remember what all happened to Old Trafford. The history behind Old Trafford. The Busby Babes. This is who we are. This is who we are. And we should never move away from our heritage. I find it baffling that just because it's Ineos, just because you're pro Ineos and you love Jim Ratcliffe, I find it baffling that some people out there will be just so blasé, brush it off. You know what I mean? Brush it off, you know, in regards to Old Trafford. Oh, we need to move to a new stadium. We need to because we need to move on with the times. You could do that at Old Trafford. If we had Qatar, they would rebuild Old Trafford. That's what they would do. They wouldn't move away from Old Trafford. Old Trafford is who we are. People need to remember that. You don't think Liverpool could have moved and built an absolute magnificent 100,000-seater stadium? Guys, when Liverpool expanded their stadium, I went to Anfield, right? And just behind Anfield, just behind the stadium, right, there was a road, okay? Every single house on that road had buildings over it, like they boarded it up. Liverpool bought the whole road, right? So they can expand their stadium, right? There was one house, still had the pots of flowers outside, still had all that outside. It was still there, not boarded up. One person was saying, I'm not moving for love nor money. I'm not going anywhere. So it delayed the whole building process. Did Liverpool turn around, right? And say, look, we can't do it now. Oh, well, we're going to have to move to another location. Did they do that? No, they made it work. They paid that person off pretty handsomely, you know, to get that house, to make it happen. I know this is a small example, but you've got to make it happen. You've got to make it happen. You know, Old Trafford is not just any football ground. Ask anyone in the world. I'm in the UAE. If I speak about Man United, the first thing they mention, have you been to Old Trafford? Have you been to Old Trafford? I don't want a concert stadium. I don't want a tent. I don't want a bloody a salmon bowl. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I want to go to Old Trafford, not wasabi. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about, you know? Big up. Gary, I think Cristiano plus a Saudi partnership is a dream come true for United. Let's all pray. I mean, anyone in the Middle East, anyone at the moment. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? Anyone at the moment. Look, if I had the money, I'd buy Man United. You know what I mean? I would purchase Man United myself. You know, I wish I had the money. It would be amazing. It would be amazing because you'll have a collaboration there of winners. And Ronaldo's the future, guys. You think when Ronaldo retires, when he gets his 1,000th goal, I think he's going to retire. When Ronaldo retires, right? And this, let me give you in the perspective, guys. 1,000 goals, right? Back in the day, there used to be a goalkeeper called Peter Shilton, right? A goalkeeper called Peter Shilton. He got to 1,000 appearances, club football appearances. His last appearance was at a club called Leyton Orient, which was my back garden team. Cristiano Ronaldo is close to scoring 1,000 goals. Right? Now, I think that when he scores that 1,000 goals, he's going to retire. And you know what? I think that, Man United would be the perfect place for him. And having him at the football club in any capacity whatsoever would be absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. Neil, drop a like. Don't be a scouser. You're listening to the man that helped organize protests against the scum of the owners. Thank you so much, Neil Bello. Thank you so much, my friend. I've done a 58th minute walkout. Whether it's successful or not, I did it. I went at Old Trafford, walked out the stadium, 58 minutes. And it's not easy, guys. I work the next day, and I done my best. I think that what we need to do as a fan base, we need to be a little bit more ruthless, a little bit more vicious, a little bit more scary in regards to who we are. At the moment, we want Glazers out. Say, we want Glazers out. Hit the hop, the hippity, the hip, the up, the don't stop, the boogity bee. It's not going to affect the bloody Glazers. All we're doing is singing songs. We got to stop singing songs. Do you know what I mean? It's all, we got to start being a little bit more ruthless. We got to have our own. We got ultras. We got to have our own ultras. Do you know what I mean? Big up, Kenny, my friend. Big up. Big up, my friend. Has this gone live? Yes. Yes, absolutely. This has gone live. I hope yes, it's live, my friend. It's live, mate. Am I live? I hope I'm live. I better be live. I've been speaking for 40 minutes. Let me have a look. Yeah, I am live. I am live. Big up, Rasta. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, my guy. Hope everything is good for you. Thank you for joining Stretford Post, my guy. Hope you're blessed. Really good to see you, of course. As usual. I feel like I've known everyone for years. I don't know about you, but I just feel like I've known everyone for years. I think I have. I think I've known a lot of you for over a year now. Eartham. TalkSport, sad bunch. Simon stood up for Sinjaragan, whom he fell over, but he said their narrative was Ruben had 3 years. Look, one thing I don't always agree with Simon and Jordan about it, but I agreed with Simon Jordan the other day, fan. I saw it. It was the other guy, the presenter who was trying to push the narrative. He was digging the sword in, you know what I mean? He was pushing the narrative, the Scottish fella. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. And look, he was pushing the narrative. But this, but that, but this. Simon Jordan was speaking complete sense about Ruben Amorim, about what Jim Ratcliffe said. He said he was speaking complete sense, you know, and they were still trying to stick the knife in and dig it and stuff and twist it and everything. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Sal, call it a cooking stream when we win a major title. Absolutely, Rasta. Look, Rasta, I would love to meet you guys. I would love us to get together, Old Trafford, the whole community, all of us get to, and we, you know what I mean? It'd be absolutely incredible, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be a dream come true, brother. It'd be a dream come true, you know what I mean? And if we did win the league one day, and this is what we need to aspire to, you know what I mean? We need to aspire to these things. We need to aspire to trying to win the league again. That should be the aim. And Man United should always be aiming at this. Do you know what I mean? But we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there if we keep rewriting the same chapters. If we keep giving contracts to Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Diego Dalot, the same players that are serially underachieved at Man United over many, many years. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up Rasta, my friend. If the club thinks Maguire has such a value in leadership, then make him a coach and get him off the pitch. I actually feel, you know what they say, Gary, that the great players don't always make, apart from Zinedine Zidane, but he's managing a very good Real Madrid team. Great players don't always make good managers, and but sometimes poor players do. Alex Ferguson had a distinctly. Look, Alex Ferguson had a good career. He weren't elite, but he had a good career, a good goal scorer. All right. Arsene Wenger wasn't a good footballer. Jose Mourinho weren't a good footballer. The only one I would say was a great footballer was Pep Guardiola, who was a world-class footballer. Jurgen Klopp was not a good footballer. It was an average footballer. Well, not crap, but it was average. Pep Guardiola is the one right now, is the only one I would say, yeah, it was a world-class footballer. You know, which Pep Guardiola was. Very versatile, playing defense, playing midfield and stuff. Great player. Seen him live playing for Barcelona against Man United, 3-3 draw. You know, so, yeah. Big up, Christian. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Morning, Sal. What message does it send to the youth that wants to come through the ranks who want to be a starter for them? I agree. If you're talking about Maguire, I agree. I absolutely agree with you 100%. What message does that send? Are they going to be have a road to get into the first team? Are they going to have a door to open? And that's the thing. If the door keeps getting slammed in their face, how are you going to progress? Alex Ferguson did it, and this is the thing we never learn. A rebuild needs to be a rebuild. Man City are doing it before our very eyes. They got rid of De Bruyne. They get rid of Ederson. Ederson's a world-class goalkeeper. They're still getting rid of him. He's won trophies, Premier Leagues at Man United, at Man City, Champions League at Man City. And they're still getting rid of them. You can't progress this way. And this is what we're talking about. Sometimes you just have to shake it all up and say, like, no, sorry, Bruno. Sorry, Maguire, Dalot, Shaw, Casemiro. It's over. We need to move on, guys. You know, good luck in finding yourself a club. We want to bring through some of these youngsters, and we want to bring in the next nucleus of players, you know, for the future of the football club. Because we can't think about the future if we keep thinking about the past. You know, it's mad, isn't it? Christian, big up, Christian. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're blessed. Big up. Rasta expansion Old Trafford is fine too. Yeah, I mean, look, Old Trafford needs a lot of work. It does need a lot of work. I'm in no illusions. But I remember when the North Stand and the Stretford end were being rebuilt whilst the season was going on. When Manchester United won the league for the first Premier League, guys, the first Premier League way back in 1993, the Stretford end at the beginning of it was not built. Was not built, you know, and it was empty. There was just building work everywhere. You know, I was at the stadium then, and it was building work everywhere, and we still played. In about 1995-96, the North Stand, which is the big one, was not built. It was there. So we were playing without a stand there for a long time, months and months, without a stand. We could do it. We've proven we can do it in the past. There's no excuses not to rebuild Old Trafford. I've been saying it for ages, you know. Mark, what's going on? He scored against Mauritius with his magical feet. Man United's Brian Mbeumo to the tune. Hands that do dishes are as soft as your face. Mild green, favorite. Big up Mark. Yeah, he scored a goal, didn't he? Mbeumo the other day against Mauritius. Yeah, congratulations. To Cameroon. Yeah, and congratulations to Mbeumo. More the merrier. More the merrier. I'm glad to see him scoring a goal, even though it was only against Mauritius. I'm glad to see him scoring a goal, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Rasta. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're blessed. Good to see you in the stream, mate. Absolutely. Good to see you again, my guy. Absolutely. Trafford won't be expanded as much as we have to tech to expand and renovate it. For them, it doesn't make business sense. I agree with Neil here. To be honest with you, we were a commercial club. Maguire getting a new contract smells fishy. Agree, Neil. This is all to do with money. We all know it's not to do with heritage or wanting to move to a new stadium. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with moving with the times. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. What it's to do with is to do with money. It's to do with concerts. It's to do with sponsorships. It's to do with naming rights. It's to do with hotels. It's to do with franchises. That is what it's about. Money, 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 money. This is one of the reasons that makes me think that the Glazers will not leave this football club, because this is a piece of meat stuck in between my teeth that I can't get out, right? This is one of the reasons that I think they won't leave the football club, because they're in line to make billions, guys. You know what I mean? And look, I hope I'm wrong, but the regeneration project is a life support machine for Ineos and the Glazers. The first life support machine was Ineos to the Glazers. And what they do? They took out the life support machine of Man United and they plugged it into the Glazers life support machine. That's what they did, you know? And this regeneration project is in line to make them billions, guys, you know? Marky Mark, the only thing that makes me nervous about it is most owners want their own coach in, and I don't want Amram gone. I mean, that's true, Marky Mark. We just have to hope no, you know? I think if Ruben Amorim improves this season, if things get better this season, I actually think they'll give him a year. I think they'll give maybe half a year, maybe half a season, and they'll see. You know, I think everyone knows that Ruben Amorim, they're very smart people. They know what's going on at the football club. You know what I mean? And I actually feel like they know that, you know, he needs to be supported. He hasn't been supported, you know, to the level that he needed to be supported. We said at the beginning of the season that I didn't want Ruben Amorim thrown in with the Lions and the Sharks at the same time, and that is exactly what happened. They fixed the attack, no doubt. They fixed the attack, but half the team was unresolved, including the midfield, which we all know is the engine of the team, isn't it? They didn't get the wing backs, you know, and we lost a lot of players and didn't replace them. And to be honest with you, hopefully, if we do get a buyout, the context is analysed. And they understand what's going on at this football club, you know, because we don't need another sacking. There's not many managers out there right now, guys. Right now, Mark and Mark, who I'll say, yeah, that's the guy to take us to the next level. He's the guy. That's the man. Do you know what I mean? I don't think so, in my opinion. Big up, Mark. Trading Places, James Lee. Jamie Lee Curtis in that film, Mark. Yes, she was. Yeah, she was. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about the scene too much, but I know what you mean. Absolutely. Neil, having that man and money puts them out of touch with reality because they can always buy a new reality. It's true, mate. I was watching. Has anyone seen Victoria Beckham's documentary on Netflix? Has anyone seen it? Right. I mean, sorry, guys, but I did watch Victoria Beckham's documentary. Right now. Victoria Beckham, obviously, David Beckham, he's my homie. He's from Leytonstone like me. I always talk about David Beckham, stuff like that. But in regards to Victoria Beckham, now, she created this clothing line, right? This clothing line. And everyone said she was going to be a failure. She's not going to be a good designer because she's a wag, which is basically a footballer's wife and that. And she's not at Spice Girls anymore. She's arrogant. She's egotistical. Suddenly, right? She creates this clothing brand and it does well, right? She creates it. Everyone does the work for her anyway. In a clothing brand, Everyone does work for you. And this is one thing about it. When you start a fashion business, you have to be very cool with everyone because those are the people that are designing your clothes. You just have to pick it as the owner, right? Next thing you know, Madonna is wearing one of Victoria Beckham's jackets, right? So I know, right, that Victoria Beckham was very insecure. I know almost certain that David Beckham paid Madonna to wear that jacket, right? He paid her to make his wife feel good, to make her feel like, yeah, and to help her with her career and her fashion business, which ultimately now is successful. But that's the stepping stone you need. And as you said there, you know, if you're a millionaire, even just a millionaire, you can buy your own reality. You can make yourself a designer. You can make yourself a fashion designer. You can make yourself anything you want to be. If you're a billionaire, anything you want. Anything you want. You know what I mean? You can be it. Gary, my understanding is they are under a specific type of contract where if the Glazers put their shares up for sale, Ineos automatically goes up for sale. I forgot this specific name. I mean, Gary, if that's the case, I'm going to read into that, guys. I'm not going to sit and pretend I know the ins and outs about finance and that. But if that's the case, fantastic. Great, because we have one owner of the football club. Great, you know. It's dangerous, though. When I think about it, if there was a stipulation in that contract that says something along those lines, isn't it dangerous for either parties, isn't it? You know, it's very unstable. I have seen no financials pulled on yet in the States. No, there wouldn't be if nothing's confirmed yet, Scott. If nothing's confirmed, if nothing's official. What it is, at the moment, it's hearsay. You know, and what it is, there could be a preparation, right? The Glazers could say they're going to sell, but they haven't put it yet on the stock market. They haven't put it on there yet. You know what I mean? They can say, there could be whispers in the shadows that they're selling up. But nothing's been announced on the stock market yet. You know what I mean? This could happen. Nothing has been done officially. Do you know what I mean? Rance wants United fans to apologise for Ineos after we are linked with, is he all right? You know what, fans want to apology for Ineos after we are linked to the Blaber. Absolutely. But I mean, is Moyes okay upstairs to do that? David Moyes. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what you mean. Probability of United, which the general refer to, is obviously the development. Things change, guys, as well as price of Old Trafford, price of Man United. It can decrease, it can decrease, it can increase based on current evidence, right? Me, who've had a business, this happens, guys. A lot of people speak from what they hear and what they read. They don't understand how business works. Business can go up, business can go down. Regeneration project fails. Listen to what I'm saying. If this regeneration project is having doubts, that's the money that they're talking about, the 10 billion. Let me just talk about that right now, right? That's why they wanted to sell for 10 billion, because they got that regeneration project to fall back on. Now, if that regeneration project doesn't do well, if they're having a disagreement, whatever goes on, price reduce, you know? It's not difficult. Surrounding the other strategy caught my eye is youngsters they can fast track into £1 billion players. Absolutely. Big up, mate. Big up, Rasta. See how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Rasta, it's like we inherited nothing but a loser mentality. Nowadays, you know what? The one thing that's worrying, Rasta, the one thing that's worrying, bro, is that we've made it okay to lose. You know, when back in the day, Rasta, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'll be honest. When I was watching football back in the day, right? I used to be almost in tears when we lost the game, mate. I used to be in tears, honestly. And then it would take me at least a week until the next game to get over it. Nowadays, what's the most worrying thing about it, this whole thing, is that I've become like, oh, well, you know what I mean? And that's the worst thing, because it's almost become, oh, well, it's just another one, innit? That should never be the case at Man United. These players should be held accountable for it, you know? At the end of the day. Guys, another thing I would say about the ownership. a multi-billionaire, 7 million followers on Twitter, responsible for the sport in the Middle East, will not write nonsense just for the sake of writing nonsense. Right? So people need to understand. I know the Glazers not going to sell. They're not going to. No, you don't know that. Who's your source? Barbecue? No. You know what I mean? You have to look at things for what they are. You have to look at things from every angle, not just one thing that you think is the truth. Because I have got contacts and I know that things are not as pretty in the garden as people. I know people at the club. All right, that is all right. I'm not going to say who. All right, but you know, things are not as pretty in the garden as made out. You know what I mean? So many people in the morning. Big up Aris to see how you're doing. Well, good to see you. It's good. We got the legends in the house. Diego Dalot, Harry Maguire should join Everton. Yeah, they'll do well there, isn't it? A new lease of life, of course. Neil, I don't see anything in terms of full sale. Ineos was basically that second fang sinking into the cash cow. Absolutely, brother. They were guys. They were the ones at the end of the day. Ciao. Rance is basically another Ineos bootlicker. I don't see any of them. Big up Simon Cowie. You make good points, Simon Cowie. You make good points. I mean, the 5 billion is a rumor, mate. Just remember that. It's a rumor. It might be more than 5 billion. You know what I mean? We don't know that. No one, that Sheikh, was he Taki Al-Sheikh, did not mention money. Did not mention money. That is just a rumor. We don't know what's going on. But we also don't know what's going on with that regeneration project. Because what I'm hearing, brother, is that regeneration project is not too pretty at the moment, right? And they're going to hide that from you. But let me tell you this, right? And I know people at the club. It's not as pretty as you think. So if that regeneration project doesn't go through, that billions that we're talking about, because they're in line to make 10 billion from just the regeneration project alone. That was their savior. That's why they wrote a letter to the Manchester Council in 2017, right? Because of that. So we don't know what's going on. One thing we have to say, Simon, I know your stance. I've read your messages. I appreciate you, brother. But one thing you say, a multi-billionaire who is very highly respected, right, would not come out on Twitter and say nonsense and then re-clarify what he said afterwards about it's up for sale. Now, nothing's official yet. Price is not official yet. This 5 billion buzzwords. Just relax. No one knows the price. No one knows anything there. This is what's going on. We talk about rumors. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, brother. Right? I've got contacts and I don't even know 100% what's going on. And you know, and we all you could do is read Twitter and read this and read that, Simon. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know people like Ben Jacobs. I know people like that. They've even Ben Jacobs and people like that who I know who've had on the show have clarified it. They say it could happen. You know, they ain't saying no, it's not going to happen. They're never going to sell the 5 billion. No, guys. No. We call the news. We wait and see what happens. Absolutely. Child Rance is basically another bootleg. Look, none of those. Let me just tell you something about those guys. None of them, right, will talk about Ineos, talk about the Glazers, because it will prevent them going to Old Trafford, getting the VIP passes into the presses and things like that. You know what I mean? Simon, it doesn't kill the takeover talk. Simon, I know you're probably a Glazers inner. I know you don't want them to leave. It's madness, Fabrizio suggesting Chelsea are in the Mark Casado and Barcelona while we're stuck with Bruno. Mad, isn't it, mate? Everyone moving on but us, of course. Sesko, more goals than Isaac. Absolutely. Big up. Neil, plus the Glazers have a local boy from Ineos as a shield. So no, will Ineos be called out instantly? We will probably always be blocked by the British media. Big up, my friend. Big up. Guys, MB, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. So Bruno took 3 weeks denying United's transfer window, considering Saudi, absolutely, after using them for several years to force wage increases to get within a year of walking for free, and now wants to stay. Absolutely. So much for loyalty, isn't it, MB Crater? Your hero, not yours in particular, MB, but there's no loyalty these days, guys. He held Man United to ransom. Let's just say that. And what the big, that's one thing. But the worst thing was he had this in his mind in the Europa League final with that stinking performance and giving away the ball in the Europa League final. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, mate. I mean, trust me. Rasta, I don't want us to use these greedy owners. I only care about money. Absolutely, Rasta. Spot on, my friend. Spot on. FU TV, Forever United TV, UPTV, just brushes it all off. Makes me wonder if they get paid. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Adam. Look, I have nothing against Adam, and we have to talk about the birds and the bees in regards to these people. Some of them are pro-Ineos. They're pro-Ineos, and they're never going to budge from that. And that's just the way that it is. It's them, isn't it? They're never going to turn around from their narrative that was already there at the start. You know, no matter what Ineos do, they're not going to call them out. They pretend, but they won't call them out because it gives them access. It gives them access into the press conferences. It gives them, it gives them a door, doesn't it? You know, fair play to them. But unfortunately for me, I'm stuck. I live and die on my word. I will always be true to myself, and that's what I will always do. You know, nothing against Adam. No, he had he's a nice person. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, everyone's in it for their own sanity, not sanity. Everyone's in it for their own benefit. You know what I mean? And that's just life, isn't it? At the end of the day, they'll end up making a new stadium for Taylor Swift concert. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, guys. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I really appreciate everyone in the house. I appreciate everyone, guys. Really appreciate you. And big up everyone, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the way out, guys, as well. Very important you do that, guys. Helps with the algorithms and stuff like that, guys. Really do appreciate you. Guys, what I would say, big up Araya. What's going on? Good to see you again. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Never was a footballer. Big up Sal. Jose was never a footballer. His dad was becoming a manager. So yeah, he was a translator. Yeah, he was a translator, wasn't he? With Bobby Robson. Back in the day at Barcelona. And learned from Bobby Robson, the great man himself. Araya, big up. Thank you, everyone joined. Big up, MB. Thank you. Sorry I can't get through everyone's comments, guys. I really appreciate everyone in the stream, guys. Really do. Guys, let me read this. ALX. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Been supporting for 30 years through thick and thin. My guy. Win, lose, or draw. I continue supporting regardless of whatever the outcome. All I'm asking for, sack is a disgrace. Leave, that is the owners. Oh, Glazers out all day long, my guy. Glazers out. Peter, big up, my friend. Peter, Glazers should sell this football club and let us breathe and sleep well. Agree with you, brother. Absolutely all day long. Guys, thank you again. Really, really appreciate everyone in the stream. Guys, we don't always agree on everything, but you always have to look at things in context, not beyond your own, not just... You know, how'd you say it? You need to look beyond your own nose. That's how you say it. That's the analogy, isn't it? Guys, thank you so much. I will be back later on, hopefully for Chatterbox. Don't forget to put your notifications on. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. More importantly, because we need to get the videos up, the likes up, and everything like that, guys. Thank you, you legends. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I shall see you later on. All being well. Take it easy, guys. Peace.